The moment my wife's best friend whispered, "Take me somewhere private," I felt the entire world stop. She was sitting beside me in the passenger seat, staring through the rain-covered window, her voice barely louder than a breath. I knew something was terribly wrong, but I never imagined that those few words would uncover a secret that had been hiding inside our marriage for months. That evening, my wife, Emma, had asked me to pick up her best friend, Claire, from a small family gathering. Claire had always been part of our lives. She was the person who knew our history, our arguments, our happiest memories, and even the struggles we rarely discussed. I had never looked at her as anything more than a close friend of my wife. But that night, something about her seemed different. She was unusually quiet, her eyes red as though she had been holding back tears for hours. As I drove through the empty streets, I tried to make conversation, but Claire barely responded. Then, suddenly, she asked me to pull over somewhere private. My heart tightened. I knew I had to be careful because whatever she wanted to tell me could change everything. When we stopped near a quiet park, she finally revealed that she had discovered something about Emma that she believed I deserved to know. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of truth, please like this video. Share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Your support helps these emotional stories reach more people. Claire told me that Emma had been struggling emotionally for a long time. She had been hiding financial problems, pretending everything was fine because she was afraid I would feel disappointed in her. Worse, she had recently received news that could affect our entire future together. Claire had promised Emma she would keep the secret, but watching me continue to believe that my wife was simply becoming distant had become unbearable. I felt hurt not because Emma had problems, but because she had carried them alone. For months, I had mistaken her silence for anger. I thought she no longer cared about our marriage. We had stopped talking over dinner. We stopped laughing together. Even when we sat in the same room, it felt like there was an invisible wall between us. Claire looked at me with tears in her eyes and admitted that she had asked me to come somewhere private because she didn't want Emma to know she had broken her promise. She wasn't trying to come between us. She was trying to save a marriage she believed was slowly falling apart. When I finally returned home, Emma was sitting alone in the living room. She looked exhausted. I sat beside her and told her I knew she was struggling. At first, she denied everything, but eventually the truth came pouring out. She had been terrified that her problems would make me see her differently. She thought I would leave if I discovered how badly things had gone. Instead, I took her hand. I told her that marriage wasn't about pretending life was perfect. It was about standing beside each other when life became difficult. For the first time in months, Emma stopped pretending to be strong. She cried against my shoulder and I realized how much pain we had both been carrying simply because neither of us had been brave enough to speak. The weeks that followed weren't magically easy. We faced bills, difficult conversations, and uncomfortable truths, but we faced them together. Emma learned that she didn't have to hide her fears from me, and I learned that sometimes love doesn't disappear. It becomes buried beneath stress, fear, and silence. Claire remained our friend, but that night changed the way I saw her forever. She could have stayed silent and avoided the drama, but instead she chose honesty because she cared about both of us. Months later, Emma and I stood together on the same quiet street where everything had nearly fallen apart. She smiled and told me that Claire's decision had saved more than our marriage. It had reminded us that people sometimes need someone brave enough to tell them the truth. If this story touched your heart, someone watching may be going through a silent struggle of their own and simply needs a reminder that difficult seasons don't always mean the story is over. And before the ending, I have one special request. Comment second chances if you believe that honesty, kindness, and love can give people another chance to rebuild what they thought they had lost.